one more session after this one before lunch, so we know we have a difficult slot. First of all, my name is Yael Smadja. I'm the CEO of Smadja and Smadja US. I would like to thank Andreas and Lynn because I've had the pleasure to work with them a little bit, and I think they're putting together an absolutely fantastic event, and I'm really, really thrilled to be involved in this somehow. I would also like to welcome the panel we have here. Bernardo, you already know, he was just here. And Onofre Camargo, who is the co-founder of Solutions for IoT, and he's the head for Latin America for Unisoc. We're going to talk about IoT. We're going to get a little technical here, but I have to say, I'm probably not the right person for this because I'm very far from technical, but Onofre is the first guy that I heard talking about IoT, and I thought, ooh, that makes sense. I get it. So I'm hoping this is going to happen today. And what we want to focus on is new applications in what industries and what is the potential for disruption. So do we have our technical? We're downloading. Okay. Well, so what I'm going to do in the interest of time is have my two co-panelists very quickly introduce themselves a little bit more than I just did, and then we'll get to Onofre, and he has a bit of a macro perspective, and we'll get down to specific applications with Bernardo. Onofre.
Hello everybody, I am Onofre. You will see my accent, you will hear my accent. I'm a French guy, and now I'm living in Guadalajara for 11 years. Amazing city with talented people. I think it's the word that everybody talk about Guadalajara. That's why we are here. And we found a startup as for IoT, solution for IoT. And basically we, as a tight dash solution, basically we create things and we create software. We can help you, everybody who has a great idea for IoT, we can help you to do things and make it happen. And right now, very fast and saving cost. I learned about OWAP and I think it was great.
Okay, well, hi everybody again. I would say on the IoT part, actually Onofre is our vendor in this case. We develop our own technology, cameras, smart locks, sensors, but also they provide the IoT hub for us. So thanks for that again. And yeah, what we do is pretty much protect the cargo and try to avoid the cargo theft using technology.
Onofre, are you okay starting and we'll follow with the presentation?
Yes. So that's very funny because today during the panel, when I was invited, I didn't know that Nuve is coming. And Nuve is my customer, so that's good. And the thing is very important that we have very different customers, and many of them are startups. So we have customers who are startups. Why? Because they are very flexible. They are willing to change the world, to innovate, and now they're using our technology very fast, and we want to make them very also successful. And as mentioned before, with corporates, introduce IoT, Internet of Things, it's very difficult. We have to evangelize a lot, explain what is IoT. From our perspective, why we create S4IoT, and because we have the knowledge, but also because everybody is talking about Internet of Things, but there was nothing. If you see, there is few things. I don't know how many people have a WhatsApp here, right? Who has a band or wearables or Apple Watch? How many? If you see, there are very few people having this. I bet in 5 years, if we are invited, I think everybody will have a IoT or things connected to his pants, to his shoes, I don't know. So I think now we see that IoT, what's the revolution? Because now there is new technology that permit to have a long battery life and very low cost. So you can connect everything with very low cost. So this means that now it's like in 90s for old guys like me. That now at this time in 90s when internet was there was no WhatsApp. right? There was only Netscape and this old website. And now we see, our point of view, it's Internet of Things. In terms of technology, we are the same page like 19th. It means we still don't know what is the killer application that will boost IoT, but we think now that we want to start with this, and now our customers are B2B first. We think that B2C and new products will appear with new startups, with people with creative ideas. So that's why I want to show you some example of what we do from some startup. If you see, we have for LatAm we see different use cases. So we see logistics. We know that in LatAm for problem of security and safety, it's very important. That's why Nuve is using our solution. So we saw some industry. We work with different industry, healthcare, smart farming, and smart cities. So we want really to save cost and make better work with IoT. So I just want to make you a success story what we have done. For example, this is a DT Synapse. It's a startup in Guadalajara focused in industry 4.0. They help factories to save cost and to have a better production. So currently they are using our technology. They connect very old machine, like machines that they have 20 years old ago. So we help them to digitalize, to get the data to them, and they analyze it for companies. So for example, they in this case, they use the information and they save to their dashboard, and they do all the AI stuff. And so on the other, it's one of my success case that I like. It's about smart farming. Why? Because this is a Agricola. They use our solution. If you see, they have sensors, and they have the product. It's 10 years battery life, so they can collect during 10 years. They can collect a lot of information for farmers and save a lot of water, a lot of nutrients, and they optimize the production for farmers in Mexico, and they're doing it. And what is interesting is now AMLO is, Mexican president is pushing a lot farmers to have new technology, and Agricola is part of this revolution for Industry 4.0 for smart farming. And I will show you also another case. I will show you other case. It's about health, and also with the new government regulation, the information is very important. Data is very important, and now we connect like all the devices, legacy, to the cloud, and now the government can control all the provider that's sending the information. So to optimize cost and also get the information. We know that information is gone now.
So Bernardo, you are the Business Development Director of Corporate Alliances for Nuve. And we just saw applications in health, in agriculture. You're in fraud management, or fraud prevention, I should say. So tell us a little bit about that application.
Sure. We install a lot of different technology on the trucks, especially, also on the shipping containers. So what we found here in Mexico actually is very, I'm concerned about that because we are using technology to avoid the theft. And what we found is that installing technology, let's say it's an anti-jammer, where you can just click your cell phone and stop a truck that is in the middle of nowhere, and there's like the crime trying to stop and steal the whole trailer. So we can do that. We have the technology to do that, but it's dangerous at the same time here in Mexico because there's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of danger for the driver now. We found like very difficult situations where we decided to step back in that technology because it's not easy to deal with the people's lives. So, but at the same time,
dangerous because it could be hacked.
No, because if we stop the truck and nobody can move the truck because it's blocked. Now the crime or the criminals, they're trying to kidnap the driver. So in order to push the company to release that lock and being able to steal the cargo in this case. So we are not giving up. We are trying to be ahead on the crime, but of course they have a lot of resources at the same time. So you need to be careful about how to use the technology, and you need to be smart about when to stop using it and try something different in order to protect also the people using it.
So the limits of machine-to-machine communication, basically, that's what you're highlighting.
Yes, there's a lot of concern about the data protection and cyber protection, but we don't have to go that far away. There is other concerns on the day-by-day operations using the technology. That's my point.
Okay. Oh no, you were once again, you were making sense for me when you explained what Edge IoT is. Is that, and that might not be right at all, is that potentially a way or where technology can help solve these issues?
I think, yes, it's part of it can solve a lot of issues in Latin America, not only Mexico. And what's the Edge IoT? Basically, the device now has more processing capacity to analyze and evaluate the situation thanks to AI. So we think that we can improve the technology and have adapted case for Mexico, especially in UK.
Locally.
Locally inside
in
the device.
Yes.
Yeah, so what will happen, everybody are discussing about AI, but AI is very costly in terms because you need to send all the information to servers, and in the server you have to process, and it's a lot of cost of operation. And now with Edge IoT, what's happened, there is a new technology that the processor inside the device can run algorithm of machine learning or deep learning. So that's very interesting. This changed everything because in terms of cost, it reduces a lot and can take decision immediately without any action directly.
I want to make sure that we involve the audience, so I want you all to start thinking about questions or comments that you have regarding this discussion about IoT. But to give you a chance to think a little bit, I want to talk a little bit more about the disruption capabilities, because disruption can be good and bad. You just talked about one bad example. Do you see good potential disruptions ahead, and if yes, in what industries? Both of you, but first, Bernardo.
Yes, absolutely. Most of our companies based on the good coming from the IoT, and there's a lot of data that you can use in order to improve your operations and in order to avoid bad things happen to your company. In this case, for example, we have cameras installed inside the trailers. When somebody tries to steal a package, it will take a picture and send it to your cell phone, to the operations manager in this case, and the logistic company, and he will be able to act accordingly. Or, I don't know, speed limits, you can define speed limits on the truck in certain areas, so the safety is also a good thing, a good use case for the IoT in our case. I don't know if you want to.
I see more also in it for Latin America, especially for farming. For sure, this is one of priority of many countries like Brazil and Mexico now. I think it will boom. Honestly, health also is very important. I think we are lack of infrastructure in Mexico and Brazil and many countries in LatAm, and this can help to have telemedicine and all these services. But also, as you say, security, mobility, there is a lot, many things to do with IoT, definitely.
Do we have in the audience comments or questions, or some of you using IoT in different ways and where you see potential coming up just below the lines of the horizon? You're going to have to sing for your lunch. Okay, sir, can we get a mic there, and we have one here. Okay. If we don't get a mic, I'll get you the mic. Here we go. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Mario Murillo. I work with Onofre for many years now. And basically one of the use cases for IoT is energy savings. For example, we have a company that's doing street lights, and they want to monitor the energy consumption. It turns out that if you are using LED lights, the luminous, is that how you say it? Lumen. The brightness of the light sometimes is not, your eye cannot see 100% the difference of 60%, for example. So basically, we're wasting a lot of energy. So with this, you can dim the lights depending on the darkness of the day, if there is a moon or whatever, and basically saving the planet is one way. So,
One other application? Sir, your
Yes.
name first.
My name is Everhard Ortega, and I understand that IoT devices will impact almost every industry. I think that's very clear for all of us. And particularly in the retail sector, I see there's a lot of opportunity there, and retailers are getting disrupted in so many ways, right? And my question for both of you is, have you approached, is there anything going on with retailers in LatAm generally, and as well in the US or in more developed markets, so that we can think of solutions for all the people that are working with big data of how integrating all these projects?
I can reply. Yes, we plan to do this with retail for this year because we're bringing cameras with AI embedded. And we think that retail we can help them to save money, but make them also more money. Currently, all the projects we have in IoT mostly is to save money, save costs, etc. But now we want to change the gap. It's not only saving money, but help retailers to make money. So we will bring some camera with lots of applications that fit perfectly with the retail.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have something to add?
Yeah, for us, we work with the largest retailer in the world here in Mexico, and we provide fraud prevention, and of course that impacts directly to the price, to the end price of the goods that you can find. So for us, being on the transportation industry impacts most of the, I would say pretty much all the fields, because transportation is based on it's basic for the prices and to make things happen.
How long do you think it will take to start having this AI?
I think it will take, this year should happen. Just what's happened with big retailers, they still don't know what they want. We have to create them the final solution and detect their needs, right? So, but it will take this year, at least 1 year. At the end of this year, we want to ship some products to retailers.
We'll take one last comment, sir.
Hello, Joaquin from Huawei. One question. All of the IoT depends on a good telecommunication infrastructure. How do you adapt all those applications for our reality where we have lack of communication? Because we saw very nice presentations and use cases in Chicago or in the Bay Area, fantastic communication, but we lack of that. So how do you perceive the future of IoT in our region?
That's a good question. What we see, it's carriers in LatAm. So we are very behind US and China, like 5 or 8 years. Like 5G will appear, I think, 2-3 years. If you're from Huawei, you know better than us. The problem is we need to convince carriers, because carriers they are leader to implement device. They don't know how to sell device. They know how to sell voice and data. That's all. So we need to evangelize them, explain them how to sell it as a service, because it's the keys. But we are working with them, with America Mobile, with Telefonica, to change their mind and sell it as a service. And once they get this, I think they can make more profit and expand more their IoT network.
So for us before, we used to use all the local communication between devices, and then the GPS will send all the information through a carrier, and we saw that lack of consistency on the antennas, 3G, 4G, whatever. And now, last year we partnered with Alestra, which is one of the premier telecommunications companies in Mexico. And we found a lot of benefits partnering with those kind of companies, that they not only can distribute our hardware or our solutions, but also can help to figure it out before the rest of the competitors in the market.
Joaquin, you stole my question, so I just have one last one, which is, what is the industry to watch for in Mexico and Latin America, where IoT can really make a leapfrogging difference? What do we need to be watching for?
I would say two. It's a smart grid, save energy, basically, because there are lots of leaks. And secondly, farming.
I would say most important than the technology, it would be the data processing, because there's a lot of data that right now we are good, but we're not going to be good enough in the following year. So we gotta take a look at that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Please join me in thanking our panel. I'm going to let Lynn take the lead.
Thank you. We have one last presentation before our lunch break, and I'm really excited about this one. We were talking in my opening remarks about how half of the population of Mexico is under the age of 30, and for this whole vision of a tech innovation ecosystem to continue to grow, education is at its core. So to generate the talent, to generate the new ideas, to really drive all of this forward, we need to have education, and education's tricky. We're going to have a couple conversations about it during the course of Tech Talks, because technology is probably moving faster than a lot of educators can keep up with. So how do we make that happen? But core of it is training students or just educating on how you think and where you go to get information about these changing technologies. And the beauty of all of this is that this can occur in any community, in any area, and education is becoming much more distributed. It's my great pleasure to introduce Ron Budash, who's going to talk about a project in our local community that will help generate STEM education. And I timed his presentation specifically before lunch because we will be looking for help from everywhere, our local community, but from all you wonderful, talented brain minds about how we can propel this project forward and educate our region to in more STEM education. So Ron, please talk to him during lunch break.
Hi everybody, my name is Ron Budez, and I'm probably older than most of the people here. 20 years ago, I did the same thing that you're doing, sitting in chairs. San Francisco, Menlo Park, Monterey, Austin, Texas, Hong Kong, Munich, Germany. And my job was making hardware for your industries. We would take field programmable gate arrays and make hard chips. We would make the most sophisticated printed circuit boards around the world. We would populate them. We would test. We would build all kinds of enclosures. And some of the things that we would do would be simultaneous launch of products for companies like Microsoft with their Xbox. My outfit was the first one to help them with that project. HP computers, spy satellites, telephones, and name it. Now my business today is kind of like the same thing. But my business today is to take children